We are here at San Japan Mach 5 with Martin Billany.
Yes, Billany.
Creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Unabridged.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing at the convention this year?
Doing great. We've been selling lots of shows. We've been meeting lots of fans, and the panels that we had yesterday were pretty insane. I had my wife up on one of them, and she is an interesting personality, and she won over a lot of fans. And I made a sign to answer one of my most frequently asked questions as of this year. I just wrote a sign that said "Not a brony," and I held it up, and I got rapturous applause, which I thought that was pretty fantastic.
So you're not a brony?
Not a brony. Were you going to ask that? Was that going to be one of the questions? I should have brought the sign with me.
Our T-shirt.
Yeah, right? That should, yeah.
So, where did you originally come up with the idea to do this? You've probably been asked this a lot, but for our viewers.
Yeah. I mean, I was originally a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan before I started making fun of it. And I, like many things that I love, I pay tribute to them by tearing them to pieces with my wit, you might say. I originally got into Yu-Gi-Oh! By watching Pokemon first thing in the morning on like Mondays, I think it was, and I tuned into the end of one episode and I was like, why are these guys getting so upset over a card game that clearly is meant for children? That was what it was in my mind, and I kept watching and I was like, well, actually this isn't the Pokemon ripoff I expected it to be. It's actually a show that tells a story. It starts at point A, goes to point B, ends up in point C, and the characters change as the story progresses, which you can't really say is about Pokemon quite so much. And I got into the show and I said, you know what, I want to get into the fandom and sort of have a laugh at its expense, and I decided to make Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, which cuts out the card game and focuses more on the characters and my interpretation of them as it is. And that's how it started. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So as you're doing the episodes, is there like a sort of a structure, formula, if you will, on how you come up with your scripts?
I mean, the scripts.
What's your process
of script writing?
Yeah.
Okay. Mostly what I do is I watch the episode one time. I don't watch it more than once. I'll put down bullet points of what I remember about the plot. Literally, like a guy walks into a room, another guy walks into a room, they play a card game, somebody loses, probably not Yugi, and that's how it goes usually for the bullet points. And I try and link them together by just writing jokes. And the best jokes usually come out of an exaggeration of what's already there. In my opinion, the best characters are the ones that aren't that far departed from what's actually in the show, like Kaiba and Bakura, in my opinion, are some of my funniest characters. And the reason that works so well is because they are who they are. They're just aware of it. So it just sort of opens a door for a lot of humor when they actually can comment on that and stuff. And of course, sometimes I just steal characters from other shows. Like I have 2 characters in my series based on Beavis and Butthead. Mostly because when I was in school, in high school back in England, I would do those voices to entertain other people. So I thought, you know what, if it worked in school, it'll work on the internet. So I just took those voices and used it for those characters. And a lot of the humor is derived from that as well. So stealing from various sources and obviously Yu-Gi-Oh! Lots of plagiarism, you know.
So you like other shows as well, or are you going to ever do some of these unabridged, so for like Beavis and Butthead unabridged or something like that?
Well, it's actually abridged.
Abridged.
I'm sorry. But Beavis and Butthead wouldn't work because it's already a 6-minute show, so I don't think I could really shorten that much. But I have tried other shows. I've done Naruto. I did a Naruto thing. I've never actually really watched Naruto, but I did it as an April Fool's joke, and it was extremely popular. So I was like, why not do more? And so I did, and I get a huge kick out of it because I have no idea what I'm doing, but it somehow works. I get by by the seat of my pants. So. I did an Evangelion one-shot. There are various Yu-Gi-Oh! Spin-offs, and I've done versions of those as well. And I worked with Team 4-Star on Dragon Ball Z Abridged, which is a huge honor as well. So, you know, I have my fingers in various pies, but mostly it's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff.
Do you have any other projects that aren't related to the Abridged?
I mean, I've worked on a few. I did some voice work for some video games that I can't really talk specifically about recently. The first character I recorded for on a professional level was actually an Egyptian, and if you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh!, you'll know that's kind of ironic. But as far as other projects go, I'm trying to get a script written for a series, and it's difficult. But I mean, my real passion lies in writing. I edit the show, I voice the show, but really I enjoy the writing more than anything else. And hopefully one day I'll be known more for writing than making parodies on the internet. I don't know.
Do you have like a college background in screenwriting or something?
No, nothing like that. I just really like doing it in my spare time. It's something I enjoy. I was gonna try getting into the Yu-Gi-Oh fandom by writing fan fiction of all things, but I ended up being very different, very, very different.
What's your long-term plans to do with your career in general? I mean, you're gonna write, but you don't want to continue producing and editing, or?
I mean, I'd like to edit. I do enjoy editing. I like seeing the way a story can change just by rearranging certain things. I was a huge fan of a movie called The Blair Witch Project. I don't know if you guys would be aware of that. But that movie was very different before the editors sat down with it and said, okay, let's try and make a movie out of this thing. And hearing about all the changes they made to it really inspired me. I think, like, in the back of my head, that was probably like working its way when I was thinking about making Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, because I do tend to take bits and pieces and rearrange them when I'm doing it. But yeah, editing, I like it, but I think writing is always going to be my passion. I'd really like to write novels and actually, be a script writer, but who knows if that's going to pan out. We'll see. I just moved to America, so I don't know where my life's going right now.
So when you first started out, you throw a video up on YouTube, and there's like 72 hours of footage uploaded every minute or something, some sort of statistic they had. How did you get your content to stand out in the sea of other Yu-Gi-Oh! Related videos that people put up?
I guess the main way is because I posted the videos in a community that's passionate about that sort of thing. I never really tried to promote the show. I think the fans latched onto it and promoted it for me, which was really insane. I think the moment I realized that I'd actually been noticed was there was a Penny Arcade forum thread about 50 pages long, and people were saying about my show, they were saying, this is either the best thing in the world or the dumbest thing in the world. And I said, they're talking about me. This is amazing. I've made it because they're saying those things about me. And so I was blown away. And I literally, the only thing I did was post on a LiveJournal. Remember LiveJournal? I posted on a LiveJournal thread about the show, and it was like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Specific journal. So it was there for the right people to see at the right time, and they took it and ran with it. And really, I owe it to the fans that it became such a big thing. I think it just spread because of them, snowballed. It's crazy.
So do you do many conventions like this now, or you go and meet greet with the fans? And
Yeah, I do a lot. There's one I do every year called YomaCon in Detroit, which is the first American convention I ever guested at, and it's a huge honor. I got to meet the guys at Team 4-Star and the Nostalgia Critic and all those people, and those are friendships that I still have to this day. And getting to go to a convention is a huge honor. It feels strange to be something like this at San Japan, where I feel like the guest list is almost like the Super Bowl of anime, and to be stood up there with all these other voice actors and big people and be like, hi, I'm the guy on the internet who makes fun of card games. It's like, why am I here? I mean, I like being here, and I understand that there's a demand for it. I feel like, I don't know, I'm here because I make fun of all these other people. It's really weird. It's really, really surreal.
now your show uses copyrighted material. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had any issues with who is it? Who owns Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now? Is it?
It's not 4Kids who owns it right now. It's Konami and TV Nihon or something like that. I don't know how you say it. But I have had issues with it, but they've never been like direct issues that anyone has ever actually discussed with me. Strangely enough, before Konami owned the card game, the guys at Upper Deck who were running Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, the card games and the tournaments and everything, actually were in close contact with me and were very supportive of what I was doing, because they said that by making fun of the show, I'd inspired a lot more interest in the card game than they'd seen in like 5 years, which was insane because I'd never played the card game, so I had no idea what it was like. But I have had issues in the sense that YouTube has this system where they'll have bots that automatically scan all videos that get put online, and if they have copyrighted footage in it, they'll just automatically take it down if they think there's a problem, and they won't warn you about it. They won't. I mean, the best thing they have as far as a warning goes is they give you 3 strikes and then you're out. And every time I've tried to counterclaim the strikes, my videos have gone straight back up. So far as I know, there's no human element that's being like, okay, take this video down, it shouldn't be up there. And I know that Team 4-Star, who do a similar thing to what I do with Dragon Ball Z Abridged, have spoken with the guys at Funimation, and those guys have been very supportive of them. So as far as I know, everything's cool on a human level. It's just the technology is kind of biased towards, taking down what I do, and unfortunately it's always on the website, so people can go there and watch the videos anytime they want.
Do you have any experiences you might have to share about you being, a big YouTube celebrity and the impact it's had on your life? they give to other people out there who are trying to get their content to stand out, or just get people to watch them?
I mean, as far as experiences I've had, I mean, my life has completely changed, definitely. I used to be a very, very different person, but doing this has really made me come out of my shell. And the strange thing is I never really did it for the attention, and yet it just sort of happened. I did actually try and be internet famous before. I do a panel now called How Not to Be Internet Famous at conventions, and I show off all the various failed attempts I have at being a big deal on the internet. And as soon as I made Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, which was something I did purely for the fun of it, all the attention just sort of happened. So I feel like if you are going to try and like do something that makes you a big deal, don't try. Just do something that you enjoy, and eventually other people will see how much you enjoy it, and they'll enjoy it too. And do something that you're passionate about as well, because otherwise you won't make it very long and still be doing it. I think the reason that people like The Nostalgia Critic and everybody are a big deal is because the guy obviously loves movies, and the guy obviously has a lot of knowledge about them, and he loves what he does, definitely. I mean, I've met the guy a bunch of times, and the guy he has this spark behind him that just is completely undeniable. It's crazy.
Well, that sounds like some great advice, and I thank you so much for giving some time here at San Japan. I hope that you have a great time with the rest of the convention, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.